Testing? Testing. This thing on? Do you read me? What is going on? Okay. It's having all sorts of hardware issues. I do think my mic is going bad. I might need to replace it in the coming months. Yay. Hello, everyone. Sorry about the slight delay in starting the stream. Denari, Seisu, how you doing? Hey, Swedish cook. Test. Okay, let's check that mic. Make sure it's not turned down too low. I'm also gonna pull it in a little bit. We'll get a little friendly. It is at 85. It's turned quite up. Ah, it's been so hot. Triple digits for like the last, 2-3 weeks. It's starting to taper down, but it got up to like 120-ish a couple days. It was very hot. That and had some power and internet issues in my neighborhood due to construction error. And so that also compounded things. That's why I didn't stream the last Mapmaker Monday. Just didn't have reliable internet or power for my house. So, anyway, how's everyone doing? How was your week been? What you been up to? I hope you're excited to discuss the dam challenge, the tiny home dam challenge. Honestly, there is like a ton of entries. I think there's like 17 entries. So in order to cover all of them, we're going to have to essentially, other than the winner, spend about maybe 5-10 minutes per entry tops. So Seisu, after we spend, the first 15-20 on this one, I'm going to just, if you can casually remind me to jump to a new one every few minutes, that would be amazing. Otherwise, we're probably not going to be able to showcase them. So the winner is this lovely Druidic tiny home, which is made by Eduardo Clark. So there was a few entries that were just kind of mind-blowing, like they kind of like were mind-bending in how they worked. And a lot of, like, pretty much every entry was unique and kind of had their own kind of style. There was a couple that were kind of similar to each other, but also impressively diverse in their own right. And there was some kind of like, I don't know, just some interesting concepts all around. I'm very excited to showcase these maps to you. This particular map, what standed out to me is it's an entire home packed into this bottomless bag. So it's a druid who has a bottomless bag who packed a multi-tier home into it. Oh, I might have crashed. So just kind of going with that concept, let's put a little token up here and take a walk around, see what we can find. It is quite awesome. Disable collections, so this is going to be a nightmare. So there's like a lovely little garden here, and it looks like there's a gnoll and a cobalt up here hiding out. So there's a few maps that kind of did this kind of concept where, oh, look at, there's little guys here going up and they have their own staircase. But there's like basically these are fey creatures that are living with the druid. There was a couple that did these pocket dimension homes, and then there's a couple that did like borrowers style, you know, and I really loved all of those. I mean, every entry was incredibly impressive. These are kind of just unique in their own right. So there's like little fey, tiny, you know, tiny people living in the home. Little borrowers, if you will. And then every aspect of this house, this is why I fell in love with this build. It's just incredibly decorated. It's got a lot of life in it. Little, like, just living elements that make it feel like a druid's home. You know what I mean? Right? There's so many aspects of this. Tiny little things. And it feels like I'm in an episode, or I'm in that movie, Small Soldiers, at the moment, and I'm just hanging out with Gorgonites, kind of. Like, that's kind of how I felt when I was in this map. I mean, Geronimo, yours was very impressive as well, and it was a similar concept with the home in a bag. And honestly, I'll give you credit where credit is due. I'm pretty sure you're the first person to conceive that. I just think that when it came to comparing the two, this one had such a unique style in combining like the tiny home in a bag with like all the borrower, even tinier home elements. Like there's so much diversity in this build. I love it. Like, look at, there's just life in every corner. Little things partying up here, little NPCs and stuff growing in every corner. Hey, BB, how you doing? Speaking of a borrower build, BB also had a borrower build. There was a lot, Coco had a borrower build. There was a lot of borrower builds. Actually, I'm really hyped about them. Hey, this is the Eduardo, right? Wait, Eduardo, okay, so you are on YouTube and also on Twitch, right? I just want to make sure. Because we have two Edward Monteros in chat. Yeah, this thing is I love this organized chaos, but it just feels like natural, you know? Okay, cool. Well, congratulations on your win of the Dam Challenge. Hey, Tara, how you doing? I just love how everywhere you turn, there's like a little borrower hanging out. Or like an animal. I watch both chats, so no worries. I mean, you're more than welcome to hang out in whatever one's easier for you. You know what I mean? In fact, you just reminded me I need to take a look at the TikTok chat because for some reason it looks frozen on my end. TikTok, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I promise. Let me refresh this, see if it fixes it. Okay, TikTok chat should be working now. Hey, Reisu, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why, but the chat was frozen on TikTok, and I just refreshed, and that fixed it up. But, I mean, this map is very beautiful. It has a lot of heart. And we haven't even gotten to the upper floor yet. So, let's do that. I really appreciate your work on this map, Eduardo. I think it was a really cute build. This druid seems to be so wholesome. Just letting everyone come live with him. Tara, I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. You're not having a bath with the squid? Or with the tentacles? Yeah, probably not a good idea. I don't think he uses it as a bath as much as he just, like, you know, lets people vibe there. lets animals vibe there. You know? Alrighty. Talk about a beautiful, beautiful map. Can we, yeah, I mean, you got a friend to help you get clean in all the spots you can't reach, right? So, especially with a turtle, they can't reach the back of their shell, can they? I think this map is incredibly clever. It's cute. It has a lot of heart. You know, it just looks like, basically, you know, like, just a well lived in at all levels. You got borrowers and the tiny little spots, and every nook and cranny feels like it's just got something going on in it. I think it's a beautiful map. And I do know there was some challenges to get the all of this inside of this bottomless bag. That is the big thing. Okay, so all of this is contained within this one item. So if we close it, it all goes away. We open it, it all comes back. Takes a second because there's so much. I don't think the devs ever anticipated someone taking this to this level. So this is the owner of the house, Mr. Turtle Druid. Can I ask why it's so like, you know, hologram? It's a bit like Tailspire, but it's different in its own regard. So Dungeon Alchemist is a 3D map-making program that allows you to build maps for top-down export for systems like Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds. We don't offer a true 3D export, but you can interact with the map in first person, like as a token or a cinematic camera, and you can take screenshots, cut scenes, chase scenes, flyovers, etc., and then you use those as like handouts in tandem with a campaign that you're running. By the way, our maps can be printed, they can be used in TV tabletops, they can be used in a variety of virtual tabletop programs. I'm honestly, you know, the one thing I'm surprised about this is there is 2 built-in bottomless bags, but none of them built in Tazel's fortified tower. I actually have an idea for the next challenge already. Tara, of course, always, you know, hit the iron when inspiration strikes, right? I mean, no obligation to join the damn challenge unless you want to. And I know some people do it just because they enjoy the challenge itself. Some people have to be, you know, get inspiration to do it. Some people like making the maps for their campaigns. So whatever works best for you. Tara, yeah, our devs have committed to, at some point, offering VTT lights at some point. But, like, a VTT light type features. When that happens, yet to be seen, unfortunately. It looks like it'll most likely take place after we deliver on all our Kickstarter promises and leave early access. So we have a lot of development left before we, deliver on all our Kickstarter goals and leave early access. At least 5 major updates remain, which means, 5 major free updates for our community. By the way, the next update is Fun with Objects. So if you're not familiar with our roadmap, our update schedule, essentially Dungeon Alchemist started as a Kickstarter, and there was a series of stretch goals in the Kickstarter. And all those goals were hit, and they became updates or major features for Dungeon Alchemist. So our last update, Magic, just came out last month, a month and a week ago. The next update, Fun with Objects, we don't have an ETA yet. Soon. But basically, I would just say that as you progress through our, roadmap, the next few updates are going to be increasingly interesting and include a lot of very powerful features. So the next update, Fun with Objects, will include multi-level building, roofing, separated ambient indoor and outdoor lighting, a bunch of other features as well. Plus, objects, quality of life improvements, etc. After that, and in no particular order, we have tricks and traps, water worlds. Let's see. Yeah, high seas and instant dungeons. So those 5 updates, in the next, right, pretty much we release an update, I would say, every 3 to 6 months or so, unless there's like a major unexpected delay. Like our last update, we had to do a delay because we had to migrate to a new version of Unity. Now that probably won't happen anytime soon again. So unless we run into some major issue in the development of multi-level, I'm sure we'll probably hit it between 3 and 6 months. Anyway, this map size here, if you're wanting to know, is 22 by 24. It packs a lot of punch in it for this size. And I just love that this druid has this little beautiful home all packed into a pocket dimension. Alrighty. So, let's move on to the next map. Again, congratulations, Eduardo. I'll reach out to you sometime over the weekend to try and link up and send you your $10 Hero Forge gift card, okay? Otherwise, you have, absolutely astounding build. Congratulations. Let's give him a pat on the back. We can't all win, but we can be winners. So let's, express some congratulatory attitude towards our friend Eduardo, as well as just give him some props. And we'll move on to the next map. What's this? Oh, I just noticed there's like a part of the house that fell down. It might have fallen down when it expanded. Anyway, very cool map. We're going to open up. See, I've got a list of maps here. Okay, so let's go to the next, what I would consider the runner-up map. So, this map was made by Coco. And it is essentially a borrower's theme map. So, throughout this map, there are little, like, borrower areas that are kind of hidden. So there's a group, kind of an Arietti type borrower situation where they're living within this home of this elderly woman who has poor eyesight. And when she tells people she sees little people, they just think she's, losing it. But throughout the entire home is just evidence of tables, bars, like little things, like just they're totally sometimes in plain sight. Others are kind of secretive and hidden away. Isn't that cool? I just love the attention to detail. Yeah, essentially dollhouse furniture. But in this case, it's an actual, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the borrowers or Arietti. It's just an interesting concept where there's there's small Lilliputian type people who live within the walls of homes and borrow things from humans, but not enough to get noticed. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, there was a lot of very cool entries that really kind of pushed the limits of what Dungeon Alchemist can do, and I'm really proud of our community for just thriving here. It's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, looking at all this stuff, it's always incredibly interesting. Some instances, the borrowers aren't so obvious. They'll like here, there's a home inside of a trunk. There's a little mouse hole in the back so they can get out. Like they have a study within her desk. Oops. Got a little topsy-turvy there. So yeah, if you're not familiar with the borrowers or Arietti, there is a good introduction to that would be watching the movie. I mean, you could read the book if you want. There's been a borrowers movie, and there's also been the Arietti movie, which is a Studio Ghibli film. Studio Ghibli makes just absolutely beautiful, astounding anime films. They're usually just kind of one-off films, not series. And Arietti is a tale about some borrowers that live in a kind of a rural home. Three geese in a trench coat. How you doing? Welcome back. I mean, honk, honk, honk. Honk. I really just thought, the home was simple, to the point. Look, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice there was some stuff up here too, on the chandelier. A wine bottle and a cups. Jimbo, we go on sale every once in a while, like every few months, with seemingly pretty regular intervals, I would say. Just kind of stay tuned to our social posts, our Discord, etc. We'll usually announce it when we do. Also, if you add us to a wish list, that you will get a notification through Steam if we go on sale. So that's a good way to kind of keep on top of it. In the interim, you do have the demo, which is free, and it's great to allow you to, try DA out, get a feel for it. I don't know if you've tried the demo yet, but it's only like 6.5 gigabytes, and it's a great way to see how well it'll run on your PC. This little area here is cute. Yeah, we seem to get almost every major sale. The thing is from my understanding how it works, and it hasn't been 100% explained to me, but Steam will put out like emails asking devs if they want to apply for the sale, or like notifications, and you can apply for the sale, and then Steam tells you if you're approved to be as part of the sale. Like you tell them, and then they tell you when the sale starts, when it ends, and that's it. Hey, Urban. Is it Urban Uton? Welcome, welcome. Nice. I am a Uton myself, born and raised. I don't currently live in Utah, but... Okay, let's move on to the next winner. Coco, thank you for sharing this lovely map. Absolutely beautiful. Let's share the links for the last two maps. I'm going to share them on Twitch, and then if you can divert them out, Seisu or Asmodeus, please. Here's the last two maps if you want to check them out. There's links for them. If you subscribe to them through the browser on Steam, it'll add it to your collection the next time you load DA. Alternatively, you can just favorite it in your phone browser or whatever, and then you have it ready to go later if you want to look it up. Okay, back to chat. Remy, how you doing? Dilly, thank you for the follow over on TikTok. Much appreciated. Remy, are you still there? Sorry, I've been kind of watching all the chats and I get a little caught up sometimes. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Browse maps. Okay. This one's super cool. Again, another kind of pocket dimension home. And I gotta give credit where credit is due. Hieronymo absolutely invented this concept. Putting an entire home into the bag is exceptional. It's clever. And then I think Eduardo took it and ran with it. So between the two, they really have kind of made these amazing concepts for our community to expand upon, if you will. But this one's called Santa is a Glamper. And it kind of explains partially why Santa can't be pinned down. You know, the North Pole is allegedly where Santa lives, but technically Santa lives wherever he goes in this story. Santa has a pocket dimension inside of his bag, which explains why he can pull everything from it, all the toys, right? And he lives inside of it as like a very comfortable glamper. Swifty, awesome. Welcome back. How you been? Yeah, there's the fox. Yeah, unfortunately, Swifty Twitch just likes to kind of flex its muscle a little bit and has rules against this type of thing, and it's frustrating because I know our community would love to be able to engage with each other, right? I don't know. It is what it is. Till they change that policy, we have to kind of abide by it. And I was hoping because we don't have like a partnership or an affiliation that we wouldn't have to kind of adhere to that, but it is for all streams. So it is what it is. We got to follow their rules if we're on their platform. And we have such a great support on Twitch and a good amount, a large community on Twitch that just supports our consistent community initiatives. So I don't mind continuing streaming there and abiding by their rules. I believe this is on the workshop. Yeah, Frosty Animated. Go look it up. But it looks like Santa really has a nice chill space where he can really enjoy himself. Hieronymo, I really, really enjoy this map. I love the whole just warmth of it all. This does feel like a Christmas cottage. The cookies is what sold me. You know, Jimbo, one thing that is reassuring, if you're kind of sitting on the fence and you're worried, I will tell you a few things, actually. First off, when you buy Dungeon Alchemist, it's a lifetime license. A one-time purchase. Not a monthly or, a subscription. So you get the product in its current state, plus all our next 5 major updates, essentially until we leave early access. And that will be huge updates that were promised as part of our Kickstarter. So our next one is called Fun with Objects. And after that, we have, in no particular order, Tricks and Traps, Water Worlds, Instant Dungeon, and High Seas. All of them are themed, Expansions like our last one that we released in June 12th, came with over 600 objects, a bunch of new quality of life improvements, including round and diagonal rooms. Pretty much every update comes with features, improvements, objects, biomes, etc. Now, with that in mind, all those updates are free. And when we leave early access, we plan to offer quality of life updates and improvements for free as well, and feature improvements. But we also have expressed interest in offering optional paid expansions that our community is interested in. Dungeon Alchemist was mainly prospected to be a fantasy-based map-making program for tabletop gaming. But a lot of people in our community want it for sci-fi, cyberpunk. They love the ease of making maps in DA and want it for other, aesthetics, biomes. So once we've delivered on all our Kickstarter promises, we'll offer optional paid expansions for like cyberpunk, sci-fi, etc. Imagine a standalone, say $20, $30 add-on that when you get it comes with several thousand objects, couple dozen environmental biomes, a few dozen room types. All of it works within the Dungeon Alchemist architecture. Similar to expansion packs of old, Dungeon Alchemist will be a standalone lifetime license with, lifetime support. So, Jimbo, a lot of people do cloud type stuff already. So, the cool thing about DA is you could start as a kind of a basic builder where you start with just learning with the basics. The AI kind of takes care of most things for you. We'll build the rooms, we'll build the environment. As you grow with Dungeon Alchemist, you can scale and become a power user and use some more advanced features. It kind of has the best of both worlds, where it has a lot for power users and a lot for basic users and everything in between. So some things to expand upon and give you more functionality. You have the asset importer, which you can import 3D models, STL files, FBX files, GLTF/GLB files. So if you have any sculpting or CAD experience, that is beneficial. You can bring in 3D models custom, or if you can locate them online or purchase them from like a Humble Bundle or whatever, you can import them to keep them in your local collection. And if you've made the models or have the licensing for them, you can share them. Now, there is, with this in mind, this roof here is not a stock 3D model. My wife made this, and I imported it into Dungeon Alchemist. Here's another version of the same roof, so we did two different versions. This was for an observatory tower. So we don't have an observatory cone roof, but my wife made one and we imported it. Now, there is a repository of 3D models that have been shared by our community. Over 4,700 3D models. Anyone who owns a copy of Dungeon Alchemist has access to this repository. 4,800, okay, and counting. These models vary. Some of them are fantasy. Some of them are anime, some of them are sci-fi, some are cyberpunk, and some are modern. And they're starting to expand into crazy territories of different aesthetics. You can take and build pretty much anything in Dungeon Alchemist by hand. You can place objects wherever you want. And if you download an object from the workshop that is sci-fi in nature, you can make a sci-fi map. On the workshop right now, there's probably 100 or so sci-fi maps. There's ships. There is here's a water-based sci-fi platform. There is a sci-fi map in this challenge, this bi-weekly map making challenge. So there is a lot of different, neat aesthetics that are starting to crop up due to all the advanced asset importing and sharing being available. So yeah, definitely you can do those kind of things. Oh, you make models with Mesh Mixer, you're already ahead of the game. Honestly, though, pairing that skill with a Dungeon Alchemist license, you could pretty much do anything you wanted in it. There is map makers in our community who are incredibly powerful map makers, skilled cartographers, who I've been seeing slowly dabble into asset making, and it really just turned their maps up to like 11, because they can put whatever they want in their maps. Nothing is holding them back anymore. And that's why we offer the importer, is so our community can, get the assets they want now and supplement and fill in the gaps. You also, with Steam Workshop, have maps to look through. So there's over 9,000 maps. Speaking of which, I'm putting together a giveaway. Should be announcing it in the next day or two. The over 9,000 giveaway to celebrate us hitting this amazingly awesome milestone. So there's over 9,000 free maps that have been shared by our community. They're available to everyone who owns a copy of Dungeon Alchemist. You can browse them by most popular, most subscribed, and most recent. You can sort and even search by name. So it's very easy to look at these maps. 9,000 is a big milestone for several reasons. I mean, 9,000 maps is impressive, but also over 9,000 is just an iconic meme from anime, Dragon Ball. It's used all over the place as a result of which. So I think we should kind of lean into that, have some fun with it. Hey, is there a puppy out here? Wit? The door open behind me. But I've got some custom dice that were commissioned for us that are like DA dice. And those will be the giveaway. Beauty. Oh, let me see this boy. Hi. Yes. So the search on Steam Workshop searches keywords in the description. Any word in the description is a keyword, and the title is a keyword. So you can search, a lot of people will type, LMOP. That's the abbreviation for Last Mines of Phandelver. There's hundreds of Lost Mines of Phandelver. You can also just search Phandelver, and it'll find even more. So you can run maps and find maps from pre-existing modules. You can find them from popular modules. You can, obviously find maps that are all custom homebrew builds. This one here from SAC, this pinball map is absolutely astounding. Yes, he's a goobs. Say hi to everyone. Say hi.
He just got the bath. He just got a bath. Who's a goobs boy?
Oh, so handsome. Oh, so handsome. So handsome. You want dice, Jabba? So anyone interested in that giveaway, I would definitely tune into our Discord. I'll announce it across all our platforms, but it'll be ran in our Discord. Good, because it was gross. Mr. Gravy
food.
in his beard.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to the damn challenge here. Take a look at this map. So this map, a less than abandoned cave. Let's take a look at the subscription. Or no, the description, not subscription. In every corner, another home. You've been hired to find out why there are no more lunatic missionaries of the Jeweled Spirit. Decades ago, a con artist migrates his fellowship into a small cave. Whilst the sound of cultish chants, pickaxes, and sieves is no more, today a small group of ruffians set camp and is trying to lift this temple's secrets. Alright, let's take a look inside. So as you can see here, there's kind of the outskirts. Right? Where a river runs in, and there's kind of an abandoned hovel-ish type area. Where it looks like the bandits are taking up camp here, right? So moving on to what I was saying with Discord, the giveaway will be hosted there because it's easier for us to facilitate a giveaway across all our platforms in that centralized location. It'll be an entry-based drawing where you just click on the thing and react to the post, and that'll enter you, and it'll draw you from there. There's going to be 3 winners. So we've got 3 dice sets. There'll be a grand prize winner and then 2 runner-ups. Nice! Nice, Jimbo. So each of these dice, they might be a little bit hard to see, but they're Dungeon Alchemist themed because they're green. They're green with gold flake or gold writing. This one's clear with green writing and gold flake. And then there is one more set, but one of the sets has some suspended Dungeon Alchemist alembic vials in them that glow green when there's when it's dark. or when they have like phosphorescent light on them. And then the grand prize winner will get the kind of custom set, and then this dice tray, which is a two-sided map / dice tray. So it's great if you're playing in person. You have an extra, like a little, hard to explain this. So it opens up, and it is a tavern and a little forest encounter, and then you can fold it up. It's got snaps, and then it is a dice tray. So yeah, the announcement for that giveaway should be in the next 2 days. I'm refining the script and doing the voiceover. The voiceover is always the most arduous part because I mess up a lot. I think I'm gonna... Oh yeah, Parker. Welcome, Parker. Thank you for sharing. It is out already. This is called Dungeon Alchemist. It's available on Steam. If you follow the link on our profile, it has links to our Discord, our Steam, everything. But basically... it's a one-time purchase for a lifetime license, and there's tons and tons of content available in it already. It's not a game, though. I will kind of forewarn you. It is a map-making utility and immersion tool that allows you to build maps for your tabletop games, such as D&D, Pathfinder, etc. Taking a closer look at this map here, it looks like there is a tiny little house attached to this mushroom. I love that aesthetic. Absolutely adorable. And as you can see here, there's another home tucked under this mushroom cap. And there's ladders. So it looks like there's a village just tucked up into these little mushroom caps. So our maps export to a variety of tabletop, like virtual tabletops. So Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Above VTT, pretty much any virtual tabletop with the UVTT format support as well. So, and any that work with, JPEG, MP4, or WebM files. So some that aren't even listed on our like compatibility for direct compatibility, such like Foundry offers. Basically with like the Foundry exports, our maps include the map, whether it's a still or an animated map in a top-down form. It includes line of sight for walls, windows, doors, and lighting information. So it essentially saves you tons of time on the back end as a DM. Do I have different items from the main game? If you see anything that doesn't look stock, likely it's from the workshop. The Steam Workshop integration everyone has. These are available to anyone to download. There's over 4,800 free 3D models, and these can expand your maps exponentially. If you don't have these, some of these things can really add a lot of diversity to your maps. You can even do sci-fi, Fallout, whatever. Parker, I would say, from what I have heard, most people come to me asking if our maps will work in Tailspire because they'd prefer to make maps in Dungeon Alchemist because it's more streamlined or efficient, and in some cases easier. The difference, though, between our systems is Dungeon Alchemist is a map maker and immersion tool. It's not really a virtual tabletop yet. We do plan to add VTT Lite features at some point. That's way down the road, though. So, like dice rolling, moving your tokens, multiplayer, stuff like that. Yeah, I gotta update that, too. Honestly, Roll20 is a little bit of a struggle bus when it comes to animated maps. And I'll tell you this, because they have a limit of 20 megabytes for their map file size. And that is, like, incredibly small for an animated map. As a result of which, it's somewhat difficult to make a map that is animated and small enough to fit on theirs unless you take one of our exports and then, shrink it by decreasing the quality. Does that make sense? So most of the others have a little bit more open limitations. They go a little bit higher than that, several hundred megabytes. So most animated maps work just fine as long as they're not like a 300 DPI export. So what I recommend for virtual tabletops, export at 72 DPI, which keeps the map size small. keeps it light for your players so it loads faster. Let's say one of your players has bad internet or a potato computer. That helps a lot. The other thing, with animated maps, it's probably not best to do it on a service like Roll20 until they expand their file size limits or we offer smaller exports. It's kind of both courts is the problem here. It's not just them that's the problem, it's us too. We need to fine-tune our exports to make them much smaller, in my opinion. So notice as this cave expands, there's like little secret pocket areas where people are living. I kind of assumed that this was like an entry point leading into this tunnel more, like a secret access. I wasn't 100% certain how these were connected, but that was kind of my thought process, my head canon, if you will. Random Ladybird, do you have one of those fan stands by chance? It's like a stand you can put your laptop on, and it has fans in it, and it hooks up USB, and it makes it cooler. The other thing, too, when was the last time you cleaned the dust out of your laptop? Your laptop, excuse me. Urban Utah, is this your map? Awesome. Okay. So I was confused about that, and I'm glad you expanded upon that. That is actually a really clever way to do it and separate it. That is incredibly clever. I didn't even think of that, so I'm sorry. So these are the yes, okay. Instead of it being a hatch to a secret cave, these are the inside of the mushrooms. Very cool. Very cool. You know, I gotta ask you while you're here. So I grew up in St. George. I gotta ask you what part of Utah you might be from, if you're okay with sharing. You don't have to, no obligation. I love this. That's actually a really clever idea. Okay, so this is this portion right here, right? Or this is the entry point and these two, right? Entry, and then these two are the adjacent. And then this is the long portion, and then I'm assuming this is the big mushroom, right? I love this. Oh, now that I see that, like made that connection, it is so great. Thank you for clarifying on that. I am so sorry I didn't get that connection before. But what is really in my opinion, the like beautiful part of this map? I mean, it's all great, but this here, the symmetry in this room and the lighting, the color, it is just an astonishing piece right here. So Sean Johnson on YouTube asks, so I heard you can't roll dice on the map like in a VTT. That's fine. How do other players use the map in a whole, like tokens or images? So Sean, you build the map in Dungeon Alchemist, and then you would export it for play in your platform of choice. If you play in person, you can either print the map or export it for TV tabletop as a still digital image or a looped video. Or if you use virtual tabletop online, such as like Foundry, Roll20, you can export to the VTT of choice. Depending on your VTT, some of them we offer just still exports, some of them we offer still and animated exports. For instance, with Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, above VTT, those also include data with the map that it includes lighting, line of sight information for walls, windows, doors, etc. So when you export to your VTT of choice, it has all the line of sight data, and then you use the virtual tabletop to facilitate gameplay. So Foundry, whatever, that's where you use your tokens, but our maps plug into that system. Our maps are incredibly intuitive, and our system is incredibly intuitive to use. Most people can build their first map in under 5 minutes. You can utilize our in-house developed AI, which at no point did we scrape public data or train it on public maps or art. All of our art and our assets was created in-house by a talented team of artists, and our AI was trained entirely in-house. It's a procedural generation AI, not next generation generative AI. So it's completely different than, most hype AI that you hear about or most people don't really care for. So in that regard, an ethically created AI, in-house AI that uses all in-house assets to generate either interior structures or external environments in moments. So you can utilize that to save you time in your session prep, or you can roll up your sleeves and build intricately detailed, beautiful maps by hand. I hope that answers your question there, Sean. Oh, really, Urban Uton? Oh, that's interesting. Cool. Good to know. Well, welcome to the community, Sean. By the way, we have a free demo on Steam. You can download the demo and try and see how it works on your system before you commit to a purchase. That way you can see how it runs on your computer, and you can test out just kind of a slice of Dungeon Alchemist. You get access to one of our 11 biomes, the forest biome, and you have the option to build a lovely little tavern in that forest. Otherwise, the full version gives you a lot more functionality, objects, biomes, tools, Steam Workshop access for maps and assets. There's almost 5,000 3D models and over 9,000 free maps. All of these are accessible to anyone who owns a copy of Dungeon Alchemist. Okay, moving on from this map. Urban Uton, thank you for sharing. Very much like this map. And thank you for explaining that. I feel so bad that I didn't get that connection. It's brilliant. Denari, we'll see you later. By the way, I just want to say I appreciate everyone that's watching. The Damn Challenge is a fun stream. For those that aren't aware and you're wondering what you're tuning into, all of these maps were made as entries to a bi-weekly map-making contest we host on all of our stream platforms and primarily in our Discord. So essentially, we pick a new theme every 2 weeks. The current theme was Tiny Home, and our community was challenged to use that as inspiration to build a map of any shape or size using Tiny Home as the theme. And it actually brought out a lot of creativity in our community. There were 17 entries, which I love to see that. So many cool entries. All of these maps are available on the Steam Workshop, so anyone can check them out and, get an idea of what they're like. I really love this challenge because it brings out the most interesting and creative maps from our community. Speaking of challenge, and we have the Tiny Home theme at the moment, we need to pick a new theme. I have an idea for one, and I wanted to run it by y'all and see what you thought. So what I was considering is we try to do landing page as our next theme. So I know that it's very possible to build landing pages in Dungeon Alchemist. There's like 100 of them on the Steam Workshop. Landing screens, landing pages, loading screens, etc. And I think it'd be cool as a community to try to tap into that and see if we could get some creative entries for landing screens, landing pages. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that idea, but overall, I feel like that would be kind of cool. I am so confused. Who said that? Which chat is that on? Okay. Into Foundry VTT myself. Foundry VTT is a great... Oh, wait. Okay, I see it. It was Swifty Goth who said it. Now I see it. Okay. I import the map from Dungeon Alchemist into Foundry VTT myself. There we go. I thought it was somebody imitating us using our name for a second. The way the chat was bent on my screen, I was like, who is that? I thought it was someone from the team watching from one of the random platforms. But yeah, I appreciate you all watching whatever platform you're on, and I want to let you know while we're streaming, if you have any questions about Dungeon Alchemist, about the map, how to build something, how to export, please don't hesitate to ask. Our community loves helping out, our mods love helping out, and I don't mind answering questions at all. Especially during these streams, because it's really, I see myself here as a sort of community connection point where you can get support, share suggestions and feedback, and get to know other people in the community and just get to generally understand Dungeon Alchemist better as a whole. So if you're watching, on TikTok, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, Steam, whatever, feel free to join in the conversation. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll do our best to assist. So this map here, Eldra's Cottage. And what really struck me as interesting and unique about this map is they mixed a bunch of assets from different aesthetics and times. Like there's like a couch and a nice little fancy table and like a, you know what I mean? And so it just seems like this witch has kind of dipped in and out of time and made this kind of mixed matched aesthetic home as her kind of private sanctum, if you will. I'm actually not making something at the moment. We're showcasing maps from a map-making contest we host every 2 weeks called the Dam Challenge. So these are maps from that. Didn't you hide things in the landing page that they haven't even found yet, like Easter eggs that would give them benefits or something, Seisu? Can we get a rip in chat for Seisu's players? Can we get a rip in chat for Seisu's players, please? This is sad. I feel so bad. He built them a landing page. And then can we get a pat on the back for Seisu? Because he built them a landing page with secret Easter eggs in it that they could interact with and unlock items or bonuses, buffs. And they never found it. They don't use it. I feel so bad, Seisu. That's a bummer. You may want to just like... Well, it does have legs, so we could just imagine it walks. This particular, actually, we do have a kind of a Baba Yaga hut. And this one is animated. The head moves on it. The legs don't move, though, because it'd be really hard to have an animated moving house in Dungeon Alchemist that walks across the screen. But, yeah, this definitely has that feel of Hal's Moving Castle, for sure. I love Studio Ghibli. That's my second time saying that this stream, so... But we do have a couple assets that fit that aesthetic, and we do also have the standalone legs that you could pretty much add to any structure if you want. By the way, if you disable collisions, it won't do that ground thing. Notice it was trying to merge to the ground below. You know what you should do? Is kind of tease your players that they missed on a very big thing. Like if you told them it was in the landing screen, then they'd know immediately. But you just need to kind of point out they missed something and it was really obvious and that it's like something they should be looking at every week. I don't know. You just gotta kind of like make them think that they missed something important. I love the picnic table underneath. I didn't notice that on my first pass. That's cool. Oh my. What's the story behind this map? It's a good question, Dyson. So, in a large lake can be found on a small island, the domain of Witch Eldra. It is an eclectic, mismatched tiny home with both simple furnishings as well as fancy creature comforts. Such a den is quite suitable for the witch, for she is herself given to strange moods, at times being a most generous and sociable hostess who enjoys throwing great feasts for her friends and those she deems worthy. Yet on other occasions, she can be a dangerous recluse when she feels the need for isolation. Strangers who venture ashore her island unbidden may find themselves on the serving table at some future feast, for her appetite for meats of all sorts is well known, or worse. Yet some trespassers may simply be detained and tasked with various chores or quests. The island is guarded by various servitors, including undead animals, constructs, and magical sentries. Jeez, that is quite a link there, Seisu. Do you not know how to use the share button? Let me get that one for you. Oh, landing pages. Gotcha. My bad. If you cut it back to where it just says landing pages and get rid of the ampersand on, it'll go to the same place. By the way, that link. It's weird, right? So everything after landing pages is totally unnecessary. Goes to the same. Just letting you know. Okay, but here is that link for that map, by the way. Let's see here. We looked at that one, we looked at that one, we looked at that one. Let me give you Santa as a glamper as well. It's funny, though, why is it witches just prefer to eat people? Like, it seems like the constant theme is witches eat children, eat other humans. BB, when I was asking for an answer, I didn't know you'd get that real. Okay, so this one was made by the last winner, Lambent, who won the Magic Dam Challenge. Lambent made a cool sci-fi themed map that is a mining colonist area. This could sit very well on like a Mars or a desert planet type situation. BB, by the way, I'm just teasing. Eduardo, thank you for the follow over here. By the way, thank you for all the follows and subs in the last hour. There's been quite a few, and I missed them. Had some on Facebook, had some on YouTube, and on Twitch. So thank you so much for all the support. And if you are enjoying the stream and want to make sure you catch future streams, we offer several each week. We offer a stream every Saturday, and it's a different theme each Saturday, every other Saturday. So today is Dam Challenge Day, which we make a map based on a theme, and we pick, and then the winner is the first map featured, and then we showcase all the other entries. If we are doing the other Saturday, it's called the Dam Challenge. We just showcase maps and assets from the Steam Workshop during then, and kind of figure out how they were made. That stream is in AMA format, which means you can ask questions and get live support during the stream. The other streams during the week, we have Mapmaker Monday. Every Monday, I host a live map-making stream where you can watch me build a map and follow along and share feedback and suggestions. Ooh, a nice little drilling area. Essentially, these streams are a place for our community members to coalesce, hang out, learn, ask questions, get support, and essentially learn tips and tricks about what you can and can't do in Dungeon Alchemist. I really love the sci-fi aspect of this map. Look at these turrets are unloading on some sort of demon over here. There's not many sci-fi maps on the workshop, so when I see one, I love it. You know what I mean? With a sci-fi map, a lot of it has to be done by hand because there's no AI biomes or room types, you know, so you have to essentially kind of get creative and do most of it with objects. So here we have what is like a computer kind of control room, right? Looks like maybe a control room and a bed. There's turrets and like bikes and vehicles around. There's like a storage or maybe an energy room. Sick bay. Could be a sick bay, yeah, you're right. Here it looks like water treatment. Alrighty, so apparently I've just been informed that this map was actually an homage to another map that was an entry. So this one's a variation of another entry. So just to be clear, the original creator was Zentic, and I want to give credit where credit's due. I think it's a little confusing because there's multiple entries, right? And I got a little mixed up. So between the multiple entries and the things like that, I think I just got my head kind of assumed it was one entry and got it all mixed up. So my bad. So Lambit, I guess, took the map and made some adjustments to it. So we'll look at the original here momentarily. So credit where credit is due. And thank you to Geronimo for pointing that out to me. I apologize that I missed that. I think I just saw them as one long entry and didn't realize it. Okay, so let's open up the original here and take a deeper dive into the original, because I definitely want the original to get some light shined onto it. I do think there are some back-to tanks now on the workshop. Didn't you upload some? Like a rejuvenation tank or a back-to tank type situation at one point, Asmodeus. And then also our devs included a couple... Well, the dev artists, the teams, like the artists on our team put together a small like sci-fi pack of assets when we launched the Steam Workshop edition. There's like 100 and some odd assets, and so like this floor and this like bed thing that there. So Zentic made this original map, and then the other one took the same thing and made a tribute to it. Now I understand. Okay, cool. This is very cool. It's an interesting concept, and I love a sci-fi map, because a sci-fi map doesn't have to be too intricate. It can be simple, to the point, right? But still beautiful. Moisture farm. Yeah, essentially like that, Sage. Could be a moisture farm. It looks kind of more like an outpost. Why, there's several things going on. You know, you got like an antenna array, solar. Looks like they chose this valley for a reason. It's protective. Mars base, right? You have different places to go to. It looks like an operations room or maybe a mess hall. This looks like a training room. Maybe a med bay. Here you have the mining operation, which I think looks really cool. The mining operation, you have all these cool doodads and conveyor belts and stuff. Looks like robots are doing a lot of the work. What I really love is going into the lighting on maps like these. Give it a red overtone or a purple overtone. It can really give it a space vibe. Honestly, these lighting tools are highly underrated. It's surprising how few people use them. And you can, quickly change like time of day, day, evening, morning, night. You have the lighting controls. You can change the brightness and kind of the height of the light, which gives you a more control over the shadows to a degree. You can change the position of the light. And then you have these filters, which in a pinch can turn a map into a completely different map. Like, it definitely feels more like a sci-fi kind of, even astral to a degree. I really appreciate the various lighting filters for that reason, because it can just make a map feel completely different. Doesn't that feel like more like Venus? Right? Here we're on Venus. Here we're in Mars. Or those could both feel like a Mars. Here we have, these could be astral-ish or any planet you want to a degree. It's crazy how just a couple clicks can really change the tone of a map, right? Underwater, yeah, it does have that. Could feel like an underwater one like this. Yeah, honestly, I think because they were posted back to back, I got it confused and I didn't realize it. I just kind of saw the one name and went with it. So my apologies for the confusion. Zentic made the original. Lambit made a tribute map. Lambit, you did have another entry then, right? Okay. I'll be honest with you, like, yeah, that was weird, and you didn't do anything wrong there, so don't stress it. Okay? Yeah, Titanfall was yours, of course. Hey, TikTok, thank you for the likes. Matthew Young, appreciate it. Much appreciated. This map is beautiful, though. I think Zentic did an amazing job, and your additions to it made it great, too. Honestly, so Foundry has, it's called, is it like something FX? Animated FX? Matthew Young, I've used quite a few map making tools. I am a bit biased though, because I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. So primarily on this stream, we focus on Dungeon Alchemist and showcasing what it can do. But I have used Incarnate, I have used Dynamic Dungeons, I've used Arkenforge, I have used all sorts of different ones at various times to test them out and get an idea of how they operate. You know what I mean? How about yourself? Do you know of any other map making tools? And if you have any questions about Dungeon Alchemist, let me know and I will do my best to answer your questions. FX Master, that's what it is. So the FX Master, it is a module that has like a simple weather effects, like rain, fog, clouds, etc., and it overlays the top of your map as like an upper layer. They do other things too, like bats, spiders, birds. There's a bunch of different ones, but the bubble one is great too. FX Master, man, it's been a while since I played with it. Oh my, Matthew, well, welcome back, first off, to the Damn Fam, as we like to call it. When you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it saves as a .dam file. That's our proprietary map format, Dungeon Alchemist map. So we call it the Damn Fam, Damn Challenge, Damn Stream. We lean into it a bit. But kind of going on, I'm glad you were able to redeem your key after all this time and locate it with ease. Were you able to do that with relative ease, or did you run into any problems? I hope not. It's funny, though, there are people in our community who've been using Dungeon Alchemist for, like, other tabletop RPG, game systems that aren't fantasy because they found they just prefer using it as a map maker. Urcal, we released an update last month on the 12th. It was the magic update. Big update. Over 600 new assets, 2 new biomes, bunch of new effects. Round and diagonal rooms were added. Tons of quality of life improvements. Welcome back, by the way, Urcal. How you doing today? Thank you for the likes. But yeah, I mean, I could tell you how awesome Dungeon Alchemist is all day. I'm a little bit biased, so you may want to ask our community members or the people in the stream how they feel. Oh no, Random Ladybird, we'll talk to you later, okay? Good luck, and I hope everything's okay. Jacob Christensen, thank you for the like. Oh, nice, Urcal. It's good to see you. Yeah, we stream more regularly here on TikTok because TikTok, we got approved for multi-streaming through Streamlabs for TikTok. There's like an application process and we got approved, so it was a big deal. And now we can multi-stream there. You know, I feel like the TikTok streams, they're kind of algorithm based instead of like the more viewers you have, the higher you go. Some streams will have several thousand viewers, or like 100 viewers, 1,000 viewers. Sometimes we only have 1 or 2. It's crazy. I don't understand it, but I love the TikTok community all the same, and I appreciate all the likes. I do think likes have kind of a factor of how often the stream gets seen on the FYP for streams. I'm still kind of learning the ropes over here, so I appreciate all the information and all the likes and the follows, the shares, anything you all can do on the TikTok end to help boost our visibility there would be very much appreciated. This map is lovely. It's called Freyla's Fabulous Fruit, and it is such a simple map, but it's so perfect. Okay, I do love that when a map doesn't get too intense and has all of the checks all the boxes, right? So the map's only 21 by 18, not a big map. Welcome to Freyla's Fabulous Roadside Fruit Stand. Freyla travels the land in her small cart, pulled by her large mastiff Twyla. Freyla enjoys testing the minds of adventurers traveling up and down the road. She will ask adventurers 10 riddles and a gift of good berry for each correct answer. Oh. Urcal, the max size of a map is completely dependent on how powerful your computer is. So how much oomph you have under the hood, so to speak. The more powerful your computer, the larger, more detailed map you can make. Now, Dungeon Alchemist, because it's not necessarily like a video game where there's scene rendering or flashlight rendering, Dungeon Alchemist loads everything you see on the screen. That's part of the reason, the more powerful a machine you have, the better it can run. Larger maps are more detailed animated maps. But if you zoom in on your map while you're working on it, it's only rendering what you see, so you kind of have your own flashlight rendering system. You can also do things like disable natural animations, which will cause the trees to stop swaying, the water to stop flowing. Lastly, you can go into things like settings. We have low, medium, I didn't even realize I was on medium, and high quality. The higher the quality is, the more processing power you use. Screen resolution also can factor into that. There's a few things you can do to increase your performance and maximize how big of a map you can make. Despite the quality of your DA running, it always exports at a high quality. So if you're running on low quality with no animations, but you can still export an animated map. You use Above VTT? Nice, nice. I love Above VTT. It's a great program for free. It's a plugin for a browser, and it works with D&D Beyond, so if you have any content you purchase there, and your players make sheets there, you can link it all into it to Above VTT. Our maps export to Above VTT, including line of sight, lighting, walls, windows, and doors. However, we do not support animated maps with that information at this time. But look at this cute little fruit stand. Doesn't have anything to prove. Just a beautiful, quaint little fruit stand. I love the sign too. You know, Urcal, you should try exporting at a lower DPI. So the higher DPI you export at, the larger the map size is. So for instance, if you have a 10 by 10 map, that's just 10 squares by 10 squares, that's 300 DPI, that means every square is an inch, right? That's like the internal reference. So every one of those squares has 300 by 300. So just a 10 by 10 is 3,000 by 3,000. That's like over 4K resolution. So essentially, if you lower the DPI, not only will it decrease the file size, but it makes it more manageable for online play or loading. So if you don't have Nitro, for instance, try lower quality DPIs. High quality or low quality should solve that. Oh my gosh. Hey, Michael, that's awesome. Your players enjoy it a lot? I love hearing about people who use DA as a standalone unit, play within it, or on their TV tabletop without any supplemental software. Because when you play in person, I mean, most people manage their rules and rolling themselves, right? So if you just have the maps that are live animated and you move your players, or if you move the screen as the players, you know, progress across the map and only really show a small area at a time, it's pretty fun. Another thing that's pretty cool is I've seen players make their own kind of fog of war and roofing. So they'll have like cool like construction paper fog of war and roofing tiles that are all drawn, or foam tiles, and they'll put them on top of roofs and they peel them back when they go in. Another player in our community uses a black sheet as fog of war. Very fun, very clever. In time, we plan to offer, you know, fog of war, like fog of not war, if you will, and more roofing options. Dungeon Alchemist has a couple of roofs built in that are simple. This one here, and this shingled spire, and then a couple objects that can work as a roof, like the Lich Gate or the Doghouse. You can put that in as a roofing, whatever, a shed. Some objects have roofing, you know, the tree house, etc. If you go on the workshop and type roof, though, you can find like close to 100 different roofing options. And this expands your roofing, giving you far more. And you can put these on top of any building, pretty much, just by disabling collisions. Once collisions are off, you can raise objects up and down. You can resize them. You can rotate them pretty much with impunity. Just to give you an example, I made a map that, you know, has a rooftop on it that was a multi-story map. But yeah, those the TV tabletops or projector tabletops, the short throw projectors or the TV tabletops, those are really cool. I've been wanting to make one that was like a briefcase that you could haul around and set on any table, so you could take it with you to your friends or whatever, and then it just folds up with some hinges. So it's like the TV inside a case. I was gonna make one to do with the community and like share it with everyone and make some videos, and I got the approval to make it, but basically my son had we had a medical emergency, and it really kind of like cut into my savings at the time, and I put a pin in it and forgot about it pretty much till now. So I might put that back on the menu to do that in the future, to have a demo of how TV tabletops can work with DA. Some people in our community use dynamic dungeons with DA, because our maps work in dynamic dungeons as a still, or if you export as Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds uses the WebM VP8 codec, which so does dynamic dungeons. So you can export animated maps. You just chuck out the XML file, because that's for Fantasy Grounds data. Just use the video file as an animated looped map on Dynamic Dungeons. So Dynamic Dungeons is a alternative VTT for TV tabletop play. I have played with it a little bit. It's okay, but in my experience, I had mixed feels about it. Depending on the map size, it kind of had problems sometimes. Black Smoke, that works too. Yeah, that's a great utility to use, the effects. The only problem is Black Smoke is very, very resource heavy, and can cause, you know, your computer to start lagging after a while. One thing you may want to consider too, I mean, this works great as Fog of War, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing. It just is an animated effect that keeps moving, so it does take up a good amount of processing, depending on the size of the map. One thing you could do right inside of DA, if you want to keep it lower on processing power, you could just incorporate like an abstract layer. So you see these objects. We have abstract objects. Like this like green one here. Raise it up, change it to black, and then cover parts of the map you don't want them to see until they reach it. You know what I mean? So you could have built-in fog of war to a degree. Yeah, it looks kind of gray, right? You know what? I'll fix that. I think my monitor is a little off on color, or my stream. Either way, that's a better, darker black. You could even fill it with like a cloud bubble fill and make it look like clouds or something. Whatever. But now, you know, only a portion of the map is available to see. All right, moving on to the next map. These two, this one was a bonus entry. This one went in after the deadline, so we'll show these two last. Let's go through all the entries that made it before the deadline. So, Urcal, once we leave early access, our devs have said they plan to offer optional expansions that would lean into different aesthetics and biomes that aren't really fantasy themed. Like, fantasy does well, you know, with our models. A lot of people can do like early Western. They can do some steampunk. They can lean into those aesthetics quite well as fantasy without issue. As you can see, this is a good Western themed kind of pueblo type situation. But, you know, if you want to get into modern, sci-fi, etc., really the only option right now is to use the workshop. On the workshop, there's nearly 5,000 assets, and there's a bunch that are sci-fi themed. I've seen plenty of sci-fi maps made because of these assets that are available. We even showed a sci-fi themed map just a couple maps ago on this stream. So it's quite possible, but it will require a lot of by hand building. You're going to be placing the objects meticulously by hand. If you want AI support for it, you'll have to wait until we leave early access and have delivered on all our promises to our Kickstarter supporters. Once we've delivered on all our Kickstarter stretch goals, leave early access, then we'll offer optional paid expansions for things like sci-fi, modern, cyberpunk, etc. Yes, exactly, Stephen Marchetti. That's kind of the point of using dynamic dungeons for localized play with a TV tabletop, is it has fog of war, tokens, line of sight, stuff like that. You would have to draw in all that manually in dynamic dungeons, but you could kind of get the best of both worlds. DA animated maps with fog of war in person. That being said, if you could use dynamic dungeons for in-person play, you could probably use something like Foundry as well, and just use the fog of war in that system. Foundry has modes for like in-person play or modules for one screen play, so it's like everyone's token is a shared vision type situation. But yes, that was kind of what I was getting at with dynamic dungeons. If you export a Fantasy Grounds map, I hope we'll get Dynamic Dungeons its own drop-down at some point, so you don't have to go through this step. I've been begging the devs to do it for a while because we already have the architecture inside to do it. We just need a new menu for a new drop-down for it, right? So, right now, if you do Fantasy Grounds WebM VP8, it'll export with 2 files. You probably want to do this at 72 DPI to keep the files small, to keep them, you know, trim. And that will include the WebM file, which is what you want, and then it's a XML file that you chuck. Just throw it out, because that's only for Fantasy Grounds. The Dynamic Dungeon file, the WebM file, you import it to Dynamic Dungeons as a new scene, and it should work just fine. Hey, Jack, how you doing, buddy? What you been up to? Hey, can I just say, TikTok, thank you for all the likes and shares. We're up to 4,500 likes in like the last 10 minutes, so appreciate you. Much appreciated. Yeah, no problem, Steven. I'm here to help. If you have any other questions related to that, feel free to ask. Flying Prist, this is Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making tool that's available on Steam that allows you to build environmental maps or internal like buildings and inside of buildings in a snap. We have developed a custom procedural AI, so like a last gen AI that uses our own assets, and it was trained internally on our own data sets and maps, so no public data was scraped or no art was scraped to train our AI. You can use the AI to generate environmental maps or internal of buildings in moments, or like this map here was built entirely by hand using our tools and object palette set. There's over 6,000 objects available. Many of them are structural type objects, and some of them even snap together like Lego or blocks. So I'm holding shift right now, placing one, the other duplicates. It duplicates automatically when I place shift. Notice I'm kind of just building a wall. They snap together. If I zoom in, you can kind of see. Here, I'll build up another level. So here I kind of built like an improvised structure in just a few seconds. We do offer a free demo, Flying Prist. It's available on Steam, so you could try out our product, see how it runs on your computer before you buy. The cool thing about our license, though, is it's a lifetime license for one purchase, and you get all future updates that are until we leave early access for free. So basically, it's instead of a monthly or subscription, a subscription model, or like you got to keep purchasing all these add-ons. It's just a one-time fee for a lifetime license. Jack, no, it's not free. It is not. Dungeon Alchemist got its start as a Kickstarter, and then it evolved from there. I want to see if there's any structure inside. The Kickstarter had a series of stretch goals. Those stretch goals were all met, and that is essentially our development roadmap, all those stretch goals. And we have delivered on, I believe there was 13 total stretch goals, and we've delivered on 8 of them to date. And then there's 5 left. Our next update is called Fun with Objects. Our previous update was titled Magic. And then after Fun with Objects, in no particular order, we have Water Worlds, Tricks and Traps, High Seas, and Instant Dungeons. So one-click dungeon type situation. Jack, I remember you telling me you got it as a gift, didn't you? Like you said your parents or somebody got it for you for your birthday? That's probably why you thought it was free. High Seas is primarily how it sounds. Oceans, shores, ships. The devs have talked about it a little bit on streams when they've been invited to, kind of talk and chat with the community. And one of them mentioned how there will be a shipyard, a kind of a tool within Dungeon Alchemist where you can build ships and then import them into DA. And the shipyard will allow you to share ships with other members in our community through Steam Workshop. So essentially, you'll be able to craft a ship in the shipyard and export it to use in DA. And High Seas, I'm hoping that'll also lean into things like astral seas, not just water seas, but astral seas and also airships. Because sky, the sky is a sea. Space is a sea. Yeah, I looked around for them too. I couldn't either. This map is really cool take. It's a western. It's a western town for kobolds. Oh, sorry, we got 2 Jacks watching right now. We've got a Jack on TikTok and a Jack on Twitch. So apologizing for the miscommunication there or any confusion. I am watching multiple chats across different platforms right now, Jack. No, so sorry about that. What's in screen right now, you are seeing a tool called Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making utility available on Steam. If you follow the link on our profile, it goes to our website, which links to our Steam, our Discord, etc. and it allows you to build maps for your tabletop setting games, primarily for fantasy themed like D&D, Pathfinder. But as you can see, it can do some Western. We showed some maps earlier that were sci-fi themed. Let me read the description of this. Halfling and Cobalt Pueblo. Welcome to the small Halfling and Cobalt Pueblo of the Wild West. This outdoor map features a group dormitory, outdoor barking area for the local food consumption, or baking area, my bad, misread that, a church, a well for water sourcing, and a stable for local trades outside the protected grounds. This small town acts as a central marketplace and checkpoint for the main road on the way to the main cities of wealth. Yes, I have hidden 4 quacks on the map for a keen observer to find. Okay, Highlander. Holy cow, we're up to 6K likes on TikTok. TikTok, you are absolute insanity. Mad lads. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate you very much. Oh, you're going to duel with the other Jack? Jack No and Jack Ahoy? Why can't you just be a team of Jacks? Don't you understand? The more Jacks that group together and coalesce, becomes harder to beat you. Look at the stables. Oh my gosh, this is great. I didn't wander into the stables before. Yeah, it's a really unique design, right? They took some of the abandoned ruins assets and then really took liberties with it and made it work great. Took some assets from the workshop, had some fun with it. I really like it a lot. Impaled Banana, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome, welcome. So you're like either the Highlander or the one, Jack. I don't know if it really works that way. Yeah, just throwing that out there. By the way, I want to refresh chat because I haven't seen a YouTube message come through in a minute. YouTubers, can you say something real quick? Just type hi or whatever. Just want to make sure it's actually working. Ah, it is. It's just delayed on my end. A little slow. Okay. So we good. Okay, let's move on to another map. Very, very quaint, cute little Western theme map. You don't often see Western theme maps, so I love it when I do. Okay, so we looked at the sci-fi colonist one earlier, both of these. Oh my, oh my. Uh-oh. I just noticed my green screen's bugging out behind me. So, earlier we talked a little bit about this. I'm going to bring it up again. So I've been planning to do a giveaway for some time. I wanted to do it as when we hit the 1-year anniversary of Cartomancer Chronicles. But there was some delay in the production of the dice, which, you know, things happen. Shipping was delayed. There was some mix-ups in the production, and we finally got it dialed in. And Stelios Contos. What is that from? American Dad, right? How you doing, Stelios? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. So these dice, I've been waiting for an opportunity to give them away, and we hit 9,000 maps on the Steam Workshop the other day, basically. So, as some of you may know, that we're over 9,000 maps on Steam Workshop. What that means is it's time for, an over 9,000 celebration, right? So I had these dice set commission. We have 3 different dice sets that are DA themed. One's green dice with gold writing and gold flake. Another one is clear with green writing and gold flake. And inside the clear one, there are alembic bottles. I am Mr. Manager. There are alembic bottles that look like little, vials, and they glow in the dark. And then the last set, another theme like that. But anyway, there is a bunch of really cool dice that were custom made, DA themed dice that we will be giving away. Hopefully we'll start the giveaway for it in the next 2 or 3 days. I just need to finalize the script and some voiceover. Once that's all done, I'll announce the giveaway across all our platforms. The giveaway will be hosted in our Discord. So if you're not a member of our Discord, highly recommend you join. Our Discord is kind of our main conglomeration of our community members. There's over 33,000 members in our Discord. It's a great place to go because we offer support. We have a support channel, a question channel. We have GM chat where you can chat with other GMs and get ideas about your campaign or story or stat blocks. We have, just general hangout spots. There's spots to share maps and 3D models. And we have events for the streams and upcoming guest streams with our devs or anything like that. So if there's any new information about updates, it's typically shared in our Discord as well. Good place to check out. Hey, Azael, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's get back to the damn challenge. This map here, River of Chaos Magic. So we're going to take a look at this really quickly, but I want to just read the description a little bit. Welcome to the River of Chaos Magic. Millennia ago, a powerful wizard accidentally spilled all his potions into this once tranquil river. This event transformed the water, infusing it with chaotic magic. Now the river shivers with an otherworldly glow, and its waters are anything but ordinary. Be cautious. Drinking from the river will subject you to unpredictable magic effects, ranging from wondrous to bizarre. Okay. Legends say that the wizard, realizing the enormity of his mistake, disappeared into the wilderness, leaving the river's fate the ages. Over time, tales of enchanted rivers spread far and wide, attracting adventurers and scholars alike. Among them was a clever alchemist who saw the potential in the river's unpredictable nature. He built a small house on stilts above the water, dedicating his life to studying and harnessing its chaotic properties. In his laboratory, he concocts potions of immense power, each one a product of the river's wild magic. These chaos potions are sought after by those daring enough to use them, for they hold the promise of great power or great peril. Today, the River of Chaos Magic remains a place of wonder and danger, drawing those who seek to unlock its secrets or test their fate against its enchanted waters. Interesting hook. So this is the home on stilts. Essentially, you could say this is like a boathouse, kind of like a riverboat house. And you see the various fey fireflies in the water, giving it the impression of the wild magic, the chaotic magic seeping from it. I love that it's... Oh, I didn't even notice that before. Up in the air, I was always so focused on the lower parts. There's a dragon up here, no big deal. It's a big dragon. Nice little spread there. He lives a modest life. Alrighty. I like the premise behind this map. It's a good hook for stories. It could be just like a potion vendor they go talk to. And there's just as much risk as reward. The potion could be a hugely beneficial thing, but also problematic, right? Excuse me. Whew. Man. This map probably took 15 minutes or less. Impaled Banana, let me show you how quick you can make a map like this. I think the hardest part would have been probably this custom home, because it was all placed objects. And thank you for the bless you. Much appreciated. It could be... arches are almost always fey portals, right? You gotta be careful. But a map like this could probably, you know, maybe 15 to 30 minutes tops. So if you want to generate a new map, you press new, and you have a bunch of biome options in the full version of DA. There is a demo version, which you can download for free, see how it runs on your computer. You have access to the forest biome, and you can build a tavern and have some limited object control. But let's say you wanted to build a forest map. You click forest, select your size. So looking at this map here, I just want to try and match it. 15 by 30 to get a similar aesthetic, right? So go to 15 by 30, set it to forest. And within here, you have a bunch of drop-down options. So you could set elevation. So this means the map is flat. This means it has hills. This means it has mountains. This one's relatively flat. You could do no vegetation, which gives you kind of nothing, and you can have a blank slate to work with, or you can generate it with broadleaf or evergreen forests. No vegetation is a blank slate. I kind of like that. Weather, we currently offer snow weather, which puts a dust level layer of snow over everything. If you leave it off, no snow. Leave it on, there's snow. Now, we do also offer a snow biome, which is different than snow weather. So you can use them together, but you can also put snow on any biome. Let's do no water, because I want to draw this river by hand. Because most of our rivers meander instead of being straight. And then lastly, water level is the room placement. This tells DA where it should generate rooms by default on your map. That is where the grid is at. The grid height. Water level means the home will be at water level. So we'll just do that to save time. You generate the map. I mean, took us 2 seconds to generate the map once it started. Let's hurry and add a river. Didn't take long at all. You want the river to fill a little bit deeper like the last map was. So now we have the river. Next, let's add some trees. So going into the object tool, we'll go to the object brush, we'll go to trees. Broadleaf forest. Man. It was weird that I just did undo and it froze for a second. Doesn't take long to do stuff like this. And I can always erase them later if I'm not happy with it. So essentially, as you can see, in just a few minutes, I've already replicated, less than 2 minutes, I've replicated half the map. I can come into the terrain tools. It had like a path, right? A dirt path on one side. Do a little dirt path here. I think his actually kind of had like a bridge, right? So we'll kind of do something like this. Move these trees. So there's a path that can go across. Get back into the terrain tool. We had that arch, right? That rock arch. Oh, that's under nature, isn't it? I think under stone. Yep. There's one of these like this here. Raise it up, and if you turn off collisions, you could sink that into the ground so it feels more like a natural arch without the big bump of rock. I mean, it's really not hard to recreate a map like this. Just a few minutes. So, Impaled, does that answer your question for the most part, or do you... Well, one thing I can recommend, make sure you add it to your wish list if it's not already, and check out our demo. The wish list, if you add it there, if it goes on sale, you get alerted the next time it goes on sale, so you'll know right away, right? And then that way you can participate in the sale if you'd like. Here, I'm going to start just building the house. It's just a bunch of platforms. I accidentally raised the river back up after I sunk it down, but you get the idea of what they did here to kind of build a structure. And we have freestanding walls, like these. These walls can be placed pretty much anywhere. I'm just going to find some wood ones that look like meat. These snap. I'm going to hold control to make it snap and hold shift to duplicate it every time I place. I just rotated it here. Weird. It's like rising up above that. Interesting. Oh, it's okay. I'll just do this one by hand. Doesn't take long. So here I just made a stilted, structure in probably about a minute. So, Impaled Banana, by the way, welcome. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. Always great to answer questions during the stream. I love providing support and guidance. So if you have any, any questions, think of the stream as an AMA format. Azael, yeah, the water does move a little bit, and with time we plan to improve that. We have an update titled Water Worlds in our roadmap. Don't have an exact ETA on a launch for that, but Water Worlds will focus on water currents, water effects, waterfalls, things like that. This map was an impressively unique idea. So there was a lot of borrower Lilliputian style maps, but this one is actually straight up Lilliputian. These are tiny people who live in the shadows of humans who don't even know they exist. And here they actually live next to this magical dagger that's been in the ground for millennia, and it actually protects their village in this area. So essentially, this dagger is enchanted and has some sort of effect that keeps animals and wildlife and humans away from it, so they're able to thrive in this area near it without ever worrying. I like this idea, but over here you see a bee, and it's massive compared to the house. Yeah, Azael, there are some assets on the workshop that are moving water. You can fill the void right now by searching water or waterfall. There's running water. There's water splodges, waterfalls. These are provided by our, active community members who love to share 3D models or create them. They work really great in the interim right now. There's some really good models with verticality and water on them. So yeah, you do have some options in the interim, and we do offer some basic, different water options. I mean, blood, murky water, ice, lava, acid, etc. It protects all small creatures. So, in a battle-scarred corner of the land, a community of tiny people no bigger than ants live their lives beneath the notice of everyday folk. Refugees from a long-forgotten realm, they scurry and hide and live dangerous lives in abandoned insect nests or hedgerows. The skull and dagger inn, though, is safe. A long-abandoned dagger is here, its blade impaling the earth, and a strange magical effect emanating from its enchanted pommel. The tiny folk are immune to it, but anything larger than an insect is driven away by the subliminal effects of that ancient spell. Isn't that a cool concept? I really love that hook. It's a neat idea. But I like to think that the bees are more like their friends, or maybe it's domesticated, even. Kind of how animals in our world, we domesticate them. I imagine if there was borrowers, they'd domesticate bugs, And Hey, thank you for all the likes and love over on TikTok. Much appreciated. But this map is, it's small, simple. 32 by 30, not a big map. The interior here is a simple decoration. This could have easily been an AI gen. But what really gives it heart is the hook, the story, the concept of this tiny little world living under our noses and us not knowing anything about it. And this one particular place being a kind of a respite for those tiny people because it isn't affected from the outside world due to this magic item. Right? How it's worn in. That's a great that's a great little I didn't notice that before. That looks great. I do think, a map doesn't have to be very detailed or have a ton to it to really tell a powerful story, and this is a great example of that. Okay, we've got 4 more maps left, and just like the stream's supposed to end at 2, we'll run a little bit long today, maybe up to about 15 past the hour to wrap up. So I'd appreciate it if you haven't had your map shown and you're waiting, or if you want to check out the rest, please stick around so you don't miss out on any. I will definitely cover all of them, okay? So here we have Tiny Home, the researcher. Cyril was a daydreamer, her nose always in a book. Chatting with a stranger one day, she mentioned her dream was to have a small cottage full of books that she could spend years reading and researching. A year or so later, an invitation for her to be a caretaker of a small plot of land with a cottage. Cyril accepted gladly. Wasn't until the first moon that she noticed some unusual plants growing on the edges of the land that seemed to appear on the shelves overnight. Again, an interesting hook. Yeah, I don't think it's a watchtower. It looks like a bell. But it could work as a watchtower, either or. It's a bell tower, technically, but yeah. Oh, these are the plants growing on the edge. It's like a reverse Beauty and the Beast. Belle got her wish, but instead the library's haunted. Or cursed. Right? Beautifully decorated little space. Yeah, that makes sense, Eduardo. You're probably right. I'm probably wrong. Bookshelves. Beautifully decorated. This just has a vibe of a tiny home, like there is a big kind of trend for tiny homes or mobile life right now, You see it all over like TikTok and YouTube and stuff. People are becoming nomadic or moving into smaller homes to either save or just have a little bit more less cluttered lifestyle. Well, not necessarily less cluttered, but less large, I should say, just less stuff in general. Now, and I do love tiny homes because a lot of them seem to be just you got to use every inch and decorate it. You know what I mean? You got to use the space efficiently. And I think that's what was done here. The shelves fit all the corners. Everything's decorated and has a place. I like it. It's pretty. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there's communities of tiny homes popping up because they're more economical in today's sense. Unless you have a large family, they're pretty nice. I mean, they're a great way to essentially pay off your home really quickly and, not have that house payment while you save. I think this is cute. You know, if it's just you or maybe you and a partner, it'd probably be just fine. Like the bed. And then back in the day, a lot of beds were like this, you know, because people lived several people in a small one-bedroom home. They'd have these kind of sealed off beds where they could close off, and that was their private space within the room. Your dog would not fit. What kind of dog do you have, Dyson? I feel like you've told me before, but I'm sorry if I forgot. Oh, 80-pound boxer pit bull? That sounds like such a cutie, to be honest with you. Boxers are one of my favorite breeds. I've had a couple boxers before, and they are just adorable. Right? I think, honestly, bed boxes should make a comeback. Because, like, you just go in, seal off everything. They could be, like, noise-proof, right? So it could be like kind of a little space to get away from exterior sound to isolate. Or they could be well decorated inside and have like a certain vibe or a mood that just takes you away from it all. Not to mention, it's just a great way to isolate yourself from your room and the other stuff that might be in it. If it's cluttered, or maybe it's a workspace, or maybe, you know, I don't know. For any number of reasons, a box bed seems like it should make a comeback. All right, I'm going to move on to the next map. This one was one of my favorite entries. Random Ladybird had to leave for a family emergency earlier, and I hope everything's okay. No family emergency could be good, you know, so let's hope it's not as big of a deal. But this one is adorable, okay? The spiral gnome house. First off, let me pull away this mushroom so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, the mushroom covers up so much of the house. This is a beautifully done spiral using the room generation in DA, and then she just meticulously changed out the floors and decorated everything. This is probably one of the most effective spiral homes I've seen so far. It could also just be like the interior of a snail shell from a side cut, like a cutaway. This is adorable, though. Random Ladybird always has really cute, fun, like, unique builds that kind of, like, are very intriguing in their own right. Oh no, I'm stuck on an invisible wall. Yeah, I really do love this map. It was one of my runner-up choices. In fact, when I first was going through, I saw this one first, and I was like, oh, this one's going to be the winner unless something tops it. And it definitely is a hard one to top, because I've not seen many maps that effectively, you know, structures that effectively take advantage of the room building to make such an intricate structure. This here, I mean, technically a plum can be a prune, can't it? Because aren't, right? Or are they different? Maybe, I thought a plum that's dried out is a prune, isn't it? One thing you got to remember, too, is English isn't the first language of our developers in Belgium. You know, a lot of the artists and developers. And I think a lot of times they'll put what they think is the most appropriate English term, and it isn't always the first, like, the best term. I have actually a few times pointed out assets to them that might need a different name or a better name. But isn't the actual one cooked? The plum one? It's no longer like a raw prune, right? Or a raw plum. It's actually cooked, isn't it? Or dried out, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Nope, you're right. That is a plum. That is a plum. That is wrong. I will bring that up with him. That's weird. But I do think that could be part of the reason is something to do with maybe the devs not their first language being English. So sometimes little overlaps like that happen. Yep. We do have one food that looks like it's cooked. Like a cooked fruit. What is it? This? Oh, an onion. A fennel. A pear. So there is one I kind of may have gotten it mixed up. But yeah, I'll bring that up with them. That is definitely not a prune. That's a plum. I'm going to put it in the dev discussion right now. Okay. Donezo. Added it. Done. So there was like this, there's this brand of donut company called Fractured Prune. And I always thought that was like the weirdest name for a donut company. Because it's like, at first you're like, wait, what? What is this place? Sounds like a juice, like a drink stand or something. I don't know. But they actually make some of the crazy good, best donuts I've ever eaten. And they make them entirely in front of you. All like right in front of you. They fry them, decorate them, put all the fixins on them. That's pretty fun. I like how there's just a large walnut in here. That really adds to the size aesthetic. This is a tiny house. It fits under a mushroom. Well, just in time. BB, you are correct. That being said, I mean, technically they still are the same thing, just in different states, right? But yeah, I'll bring it up with the devs. You know, I've never been in a Krispy Kreme before. I have only seen Krispy Kremes at the store in a box, like pre-made, so I didn't know they make them fresh. I didn't realize that. Maybe that's why I didn't like them. Maybe getting them fresh would make all the difference. Nice. Okay, so I love the spiral. I think it's absolutely beautiful that you were able to use the shaping tools and make this shape so effectively. It's astounding. Yeah, Random Ladybird, is everything okay? No, don't want to dive into your personal life, but I hope everything's all right. Kind of left us concerned when you dipped out earlier. Oh my goodness. Random Ladybird, I am so sorry. Oh my goodness. You know, I don't even know what to say. I apologize profusely for your loss. I know your dad was very important to you. And I know you spent time making maps with him with Dungeon Alchemist, and so I am just absolutely just so sorry for your loss. I don't even know how to respond or what to say to this. You know, you don't have to be here during the stream right now if you're in, you know, a rough spot, but I also understand if you need a place to be and need people to talk to, we are here for you. And remember, after the stream, if you need someone to chat to, you can always reach out to me privately. Yeah, my sincerest condolences. I am so sorry. Honestly, it is kind of sad because it's like we're losing a member of the Damn Fam, if I'm being honest, because your dad loved Dungeon Alchemist a lot. I know he did. You would talk about making maps with him all the time and showing him stuff in it. So I'm just seriously so sorry for your loss. That is... Whew. You know, I don't mean to shift subjects so drastically or to take away from your loss, but I do want to, you know, try and remain positive on the stream and try to not focus on that so it's not a constant reminder. What I will say, though, is, anyone who needs to talk after the stream, you know how to reach out to me, and we can do so. So sorry, Bird. Well, I think, it's fitting that we're looking at your map right now. And I honestly, I do think that he would have loved it if he didn't get a chance to see it. I think he would have adored it. Now, I won't tell you what to do, but maybe you could dedicate it in his memory or something like that, or build a map in his memory. That is just absolutely heartbreaking. I am so sorry for your loss. Despite that, though, you have made an absolutely astonishingly beautiful map. I love the detail and heart in this map. The symmetry, the spiral symmetry, and just the little details, such as the walnut here. And the oversized walnut made me giggle. I mean, obviously it's oversized relative to, the gnome, but it's normal for him. I very much love this build. And I think it's top-notch build. You did an amazing job on it. I love how it's just like a natural use of the mushroom for shading. And it works so well for it. Like, it's amazing. I love it. Beautiful. That gnome's clever. Or leprechaun, or whatever he is. Okay, so I'm going to put out a small warning. Our next map has a spider in it. So if you have arachnophobia, you may want to open a separate tab or switch to audio only for a few minutes. Just so you're not, let's just say, I don't want to upset anyone on the stream looking at a spider. That's all. So if you have a fear of spiders or they make you uneasy, you may want to avoid the next 5 minutes of the stream or so. Okay? So we're going to open up the next map. Again, Random Ladybird, thank you for sharing this amazingly beautiful map. I love it. It's perfect. Okay. We have got 2 maps left. This one was made and shared by Cartographer. Here, let me give you the link for the last map for anyone who's interested. So this map here, the synopsis for the map says this spider used to be as small as a pea. Through the years, they have grown several times that size. They are not so tiny anymore and feast on much larger prey as of late. A slip of the foot might send you sliding down the chute of doom, grasping for anything, as you will surely be caught in a sticky situation if you don't. So, a large spider suspended. Ah, you got the black smoke hiding underneath. That's clever. Clever, clever. Makes it darker feeling. I was wondering what that was doing there. So essentially this is the slip part where you could fall down the hole, and next thing you know it, you are lunch for a large spider. I love the webs, stretching them out and getting that aesthetic there. It's a simple map, but also packs a punch. You know what I mean? Looks like there's a couple areas to slip into this hole. It seems like maybe the spider might be trapped here, or maybe it can wiggle out through a hole, but it's got that Shelob kind of vibe going on. Oh, yeah, it would be a great trap, right? Could be a great trap, for sure. Looks like some other adventurers have already met their doom. And there's some eggs, so you definitely don't want to mess with this spider queen. You know what I mean? I see you got an abstract under there, right? Cartographer, that's clever. And it looks like you've got some smoke on the abstracts, some black smoke to really kind of make the effect feel darker. Smooth. Very clever. Very clever. So, one thing a lot of people don't know is effects can be raised up and down, but they got to be put on an object first. So, what a lot of people in our community will do is they'll place an abstract like this. Let's raise this abstract up and make it large, right? Now, if you want to put some, let's say, black smoke on this, all of this is on this object, right? Well, and then you're probably thinking, Mac, that doesn't help me out at all. How can I use this, right? These abstract objects, they're customizable. So you could insert a blank PNG into it, i.e. nothing. Now it's invisible. You can drag this around. Now I have smoke that I can move. You can do this with fire, but here we can raise it and kind of have a little bit of it right on the edge of that, or even just below. It even seems darker at certain angles. Anyway, so I do think, this is a simple map, but it could be, you could have one large spider, a bunch of smaller spiders, or like a horde groups of spiders. But this spider is available in the workshop, and it has a few different animations to it. So this is the default kind of resting animation. There's a walking one, kind of a sprinting looking one. There's an attack look. This one's dead. Cool, huh? Not bad, huh? Yeah, see, Stelios, I know some people in our community may have an aversion to spiders, so I like to warn them before we jump into this. Speaking of which, we're going to move on from this map relatively quickly due to that nature. Cartographer, I love the map. Absolute banger of a map. Unfortunately, due to the, graphic nature of spiders to some people, I want to share it and then move on quickly so no one gets creeped out. It is brilliant, though. Are you going to be using it in your campaign module that you're building? I don't like spiders at all. Looking at this one really gives me the heebie-jeebies, but I do have a really good mind block where I can be like, I just know this isn't real. It's not going to really end my day or crawl up me or bother me at the end of the day. And I feel like, though, sometimes that makes me less averse to real spiders, which, you don't want them crawling on you if they're poisonous or whatever, or venomous, whatever. So, kind of one of those things. I don't know. I don't like spiders if they're real. Let's just say that. I wouldn't want to hold a spider. I wouldn't want one crawling on me. Okay, so this was made by Lambent, who was the winner of the Magic Dam Challenge. Lambent, are you still here, my friend? Titanfall. I can already see where this is going. In an age now legend, Lemuria was claimed by the hungry waves. This cause of her apocalyptic passing is as lost as her once lofty spires. The truths of her fabled power and stories fall, now sharing a common abysmal grave. Here and there, though, her artifacts remain, mute testaments to ancient glory. Look upon our works, ye mighty, and despair. Somewhere, a desolate beach hugs the contours of an uncharted isle. Blah, 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 tongue twister. Somewhere on the edge of the golem deeps, a lone siege titan yet stands. Once irresistible force, now unmoving object. Its arcane core lies dark and cold, the magics that animate it long dispersed. It should be naught but scattered stones, lying impotent in the toxic miasma of dissipating magic. And yet it stands, rebuking entropy. Someone, it seems, has been maintaining this construct's structural integrity enchantments. And herein lies a lesson. You can't judge a mage by their stature, but beware of their statuary. I like that. The homes may be tiny, but tiny is relative. As to why anyone, mage or otherwise, would choose to build here, well, no one will disturb you, and the view is certainly spectacular. Still, one can't help but wonder if perhaps somebody is overcompensating. So, on top of this Titan is a house. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. Like lovely pools. Kind of like is remnant of like Greek or Roman architecture. Lambent, yeah, the hook is very clean. Very good story. Oh no, isn't dad life the best? You always get pulled away when you least expect it, right? Cartographer, you're a good dad, man. Honestly, the map was beautiful. I did have a question for you. We only showcased it a little bit due to arachnophobia concerns for viewers, but the map in question, did you make it for your module as well? So will it be included in your campaign module? Yeah, honestly, I had no problem sharing it, but I just did get a little warning before we did it, so anyone watching would, could avert their eyes for a moment. Speaking of which, if you were averting your eyes, we're no longer on a spider map, so come on over here. Come on down. Nice. Honestly, it would work great for an encounter. You could easily include it into your module if you have a place for it. I mean, you could have just a pit. So what it reminds me of is those trap spiders, the trap door ones, kind of. But instead it just has like a little pit on the side of the road where people might fall if they're not watching their footing, go down in, right? Yeah, under a basement could work too, or it could be, you hired to clear out the spiders along this trail as they've gotten ridiculously out of hand as of late. Any number of reasons. Great encounter map, though. Very, very powerful encounter map. So, what I'm really just astonished about is this entire build on top of here. I want to get inside of this. And I know you can open this thing up. Does yours have anything inside of it when it expands, Lambent? Yeah, I know, but you can put stuff inside it, and then when you shrink it, the stuff inside shrinks with it. All right. Gotcha. So, check this out. So there's this asset is called Tazel's Fortified Tower. Right? This guy. So earlier, people there was another asset like this called the bottomless bag that also was used, and people were actually building entire apartments inside of it. So I was kind of thinking maybe you did the same. That's why I was asking. But this space, you could decorate it, and then when you close it all up, all the stuff shrinks inside with it. It's like a pocket dimension. But yeah, this map is brilliant. So essentially, a long time ago, this Colossus fought and lost its energy. You know, its core died or was taken, removed. You could see the remnants of the battle, the sword, the shield, the caldera here, a spear of some sort. But someone is making the most out of this area up top. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like the abstract water there that you put underneath to really give it like more feel of a natural, different water pool than what we offer. Really nice. For real, you got a large colossus of roads thing that's massive, and then on top of it, someone's living up there. That's clever. Absolutely astounding. What's the next challenge gonna be? The next challenge is going to be landing screen, landing page. For anyone wondering, the next challenge is landing page. I will announce the challenge in the Damn Challenge channel and post the info about the winner there and whatnot. Take the weekend off, think about your design ideas. Monday, after I announce the new challenge and whatnot, then you can start putting your entries in. Yep. So we're going to challenge our community to make a landing page themed map. Or, you know, a landing screen that you can use for your campaigns. It doesn't necessarily, at this point, probably wouldn't be a map. What exactly is a landing page? That's a great question, Azael. So, a landing page is an immersion tool used to essentially set a setting for your map. Or for your campaign. Oh my gosh. Okay. Just to give us an idea of how big this is, there's like some docks and structure over here. That Colossus is massive. Okay, that's huge. Sorry, got a little distracted. Okay, so let me show you some landing pages. So if you play with like a virtual tabletop or a TV tabletop, landing pages are an incredibly powerful immersion tool to help your players get more immersed into your campaign and feel like it's, I don't know, essentially think of it as like a loading screen for your campaign. I think of it as like a loading page for like a game or a movie, you know, like the menu. So let's look at a couple of these. So a few members of our community have gotten really good at making landing pages, and you could take a look at their examples. To use as kind of a foundation, if you will. And this is an unexpected use case for Dungeon Alchemist. Our devs never anticipated someone would make landing pages, but once someone did, people realized it was possible, and the concept just took off. So, what a landing page is it's a backdrop, an immersive backdrop, where you can essentially create a loop scene that is like a loading screen for your players. So let's say you use virtual tabletop like Foundry, right? You could have this as a loading screen. You can have player images, custom like a world map from their setting, maybe their tavern that they live at or their next upcoming heist or whatever, and to really give them immersion into their world. And this is the loading scene for your campaign. So maybe you're loading a new map in the background. This could be just kind of a temporary staging area while you load that map. But a lot of people like to use these as kind of just a immersion setting. You can play music, have some sound effects like the fire crackling. And it just is a really, I don't know, it's a powerful storytelling tool, production tool that can help you, I've said this like 5 times, but better immerse your players into your world. Now, granted, it doesn't excel as much for in-person play unless you have like a projector or a TV tabletop. With printouts, it may not work quite as well, but it can still work as a printout. You could, do this imagery without any UI, take a screenshot, get this printed, and lay it down as a mat under all your gameplay. You know what I mean? There are tons of examples of landing screens or landing pages on the workshop to give you some idea of how they function or how they can be used. Probably best to search landing page. Seems the most of them are under that. But does that make any sense to you, Azael? Does this kind of stand out as what it is now? Do you get an idea of how it can be used? These are a great little transition screen for immersion purposes, loading screen purposes, etc. Just give your players a place to sit in between, maybe when you're RPing or not traveling or doing encounters. Big Hugs over on YouTube asks, you may not be able to answer this, but why not go full RPG VTT? It seems like the logical best use case of this tech. So, Dungeon Alchemist was originally conceived as a map-making utility, designed to, save time. And why is all this, covering this now? That's weird. Looks like it's overgrown. Anyway, so it's a map-making tool and an immersion utility. You make beautiful maps for fantasy settings, top-down tabletop RPGs such as D&D, Pathfinder, etc. We lean into some early Western. We lean into some steampunk stuff as well. People can make those maps very well. With the addition of Steam Workshop, you can import assets or download assets from the workshop. People make Fallout, zombie-themed, sci-fi, space, all sorts of stuff now with the addition of the Steam Workshop. So between those two, you can make whatever setting map you want. And a lot of people are like, why don't you have the option to play in DA? Getting kind of to the base question. We export for a series of virtual tabletops that are much more popular than us as a map maker as a virtual tabletop. So virtual tabletops are a tool, a program that allows you to facilitate gameplay online or in person using our maps or other maps that you've drawn or sourced online or made using map makers. So our maps import to, say, Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, above VTT, with lighting, line of sight, walls, windows, doors. Now, there are some 3D VTTs out there, like Tailspire. You build your map inside of it, you play inside of it. It's all a closed ecosystem, right? Our devs have heard the community feedback. They understand people want Dungeon Alchemist to be a standalone virtual tabletop. When we originally conceived DA as a Kickstarter, it was never promised to be as such. We never anywhere in our stretch goals or development roadmap said, hey, we want to make this a virtual tabletop. So we never promised that, and as a result of which, changing or shifting gears to a heavy feature like that would drastically change our roadmap and allow us to not deliver on our current promises. And our Kickstarter is how we got here, right? We are beholden to our Kickstarter community because without them, we wouldn't have gotten this far. And until we deliver on those Kickstarter promises, the devs have said that they don't have any intentions to breach into VTT features. Now, once we leave early access and have delivered on all our early access promises, so 5 major updates remain before we leave early access, then they've said they want to offer a VTT Lite. Whether that'll be included in DA as all-inclusive, one-size-fits-all application that does the map making and gameplay, that is yet to be determined, or will it be an external standalone application that works with DA maps? I don't know. We'll see. But they said, yes, they want to do that. We have a roadmap. Anyone can look at it. It's on a website called Upvoty. You can check out there and see our roadmap. But on that roadmap, it says planned next to VTT Lite. So that means they plan on addressing it at some point. I don't know when. Both of our devs, our lead developers on streams with interviews with our community, have said they want to approach this. They would add things like fog of war, dice rolling, maybe multiplayer support. Ideally, it would be catered around like TV tabletop play. I'm not sure how well it would work for online multiplayer play. So we'll see. Death Ember on TikTok asks, as a Kickstarter backer, ETA on boats. So just so you know, you can actually do boats just fine right now. Not only are there a bunch of boats built in, like rowboats and whatnot, you can oversize them. So if you disable collisions, let's say this boat here, right? I'm going to put this boat right here. And then I'm going to just scale it up to massive. And then you could decorate this and turn it into a ship. People have done that in our community. Plenty of maps actually have ships and boats and ports and stuff. So if you're assuming that it's not possible, definitely possible. We do have an update planned called the High Seas. And the High Seas will include a shipyard dedicated to shipbuilding and things around, docks and seas and astral seas, I'm hoping as well. But it is quite possible between the tools available in DA. Here's a great example of one that was built by hand. This is a beautiful ship, right? And that was just the big boat that I just oversized with some decking on it, decorated. Alternatively, you can hop onto the Steam Workshop, go to Browse Assets, almost 5,000 free 3D models available. Search boat or ship. There's a couple boats. Let's search ship. So, hey, Impelled Banana, I'm here for you. Anytime you need questions, drop by the streams, ask questions. We're here to guide you, assist you. Think of our streams as like AMA format. So if you need any assistance at all, drop in, okay? So there's a few ships in here, sailing ships. These are massive pirate-sized ships, and you can use these in your maps. I have seen some impressive boat-themed maps made. So if you're under the impression that it's impossible, it's definitely possible, but there's no AI assistance. So you're going to have to do it by hand. So essentially, what I would do if I wanted, say, a sea map, I'd probably just make like a large map. And I probably would go grasslands biome because it has sand in it. And then I'd set, let's do like hills with island as the land type. No vegetation. And then I'm going to just generate this. Well, like I said, Farallon Pathfinder, it's something that we don't really plan to address until after we leave early access. Until then, we have 5 major updates that'll focus on biomes, objects, quality of life features, things that were planned from our Kickstarter. So we won't have any major feature creep until we leave early access, at which point we will have time, resources to do so. So notice here, I've got this kind of island in the middle of what looks like an ocean. It's not very deep looking, right? So you can hop into the terrain tools, go to lower terrain. I like to make the brush big, make it strong, and then just start lowering the terrain all around the island. This is how I would do an island in the middle of the ocean. Granted, you could just do this across the entire map, get rid of the island, so it could just be all sea if you prefer. You don't have to just, you could have a nice deep ocean. And I'll show you a trick to make it feel even deeper, darker, black water here in just a moment. So I'm going to just use the terrain tool to quickly taper back this land to make it feel deeper right off the edge of the island, like it just falls into abyss, right? This should take no more than 3 minutes total. As you can see here, there's like a crest of dirt, kind of terrain underground, under the water there. Like a little, I don't even know, like a shelf. I like to taper it back because then it feels deeper off the edge of the island. Now, I'm going to incorporate some sand, right? We have the sand brush here. Do it around the edges here. Now this turns from a weird meadow-looking thing to a beach-looking thing, right? Or an island. You can leave little green patches here and there, but fill most of it with sand, right? Maybe just a little bit around like water parts like this that's fresh. But you could also just kind of leave it like this. Or you can mix and match the sand in, patches of it like this, and just kind of have a little bit of green where it's maybe under tree canopy. Something like this, right? Now you go into the terrain or the object tools. We have the object brush, nature. I'm going to go into tropical, like jungle trees, right? So now we have a desert island in the middle of the sea, right? The last trick to make this water seem deep and like there's nothing else, I'm going to go into the object panel again, go to abstracts. We have these green blank objects. These are customizable objects, meaning you can insert images into them and make them custom. I'm going to turn off collisions, raise it up a little bit, and then I'm going to oversize it to be pretty much the size of the entire map. And I'm doing this so it will encapsulate the entire ocean underneath it. This will take a couple resizes to get just right. Fortunately, we don't have like a snap to fill type option yet. Now you do something like this, right? Raise it up just the littlest bit. And then insert a completely black image into it. Now the waters off this shore feel much deeper. You could do the same thing, delete the land, and now you have just a big deep ocean. Put one of the boats from the workshop that I showed you earlier. Let's try... More often than not, if you want to do something that the AI won't do for you, like if the AI can't do this thing, you can do it by hand. More often than not. DA is a very powerful tool that has lots of functionality. So until you are high seas or Water Worlds launches, you at least have a couple of options to make yourself some ocean, sea type stuff. One thing I will point out, use the grasslands biome because it's really the only biome that gives you as much versatility in grass and dirt and rocks. It has sand, it has grassland, it has rocks, it has dirt. The jungle terrain biome, for instance, alternatively, if you leave and go to the jungle biome doesn't have sand, so you can't get islands as effectively. So it does take a little bit of work by hand, but it's possible. This is great for Sea of Thieves maps, pirate-themed campaigns. See, notice here that it's like got rid of, there's all these lilies, water lilies. Why would there be water lilies in the ocean? It assumes you're in the jungle, right? No terrain for sand, but there is these neat like vines. That's cool in a jungle, but not on an island. You need sand. It's like pivotal, right? So I personally use the grasslands biome anytime I want to build an island or an ocean setting. I hope that helps. Anyway, we are quite long on our stream today. We're actually 40 minutes past our scheduled stream allotment. It's normally about a 2-hour stream. We've almost 3 hours today. Had a lot of fun hanging out with you all, discussing all of these new features. Discussing not all these new upcoming features and updates that are on the roadmap. I had a lot of fun showing you tips and tricks, but mostly I enjoyed showcasing the various maps from the Dam Challenge. The Tiny Home Dam Challenge really brought out a lot of creativity in our community, and I am excited that there were so many entries, and all of them were just absolute amazing entries. Really quickly before we go. All right, I just put the Dam Challenge theme back on the stream. For those wondering when the next stream is, we'll be back on Monday with Map Maker Monday. That is a multi-stream across all the platforms that are live right now. Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Steam. We're live on all these platforms right now. So if you want to catch the next stream, tune in Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. CET. The stream is a focus on me building a map live, so you get to watch me build. I have over 2,500 hours with Dungeon Alchemist, so I know lots of tips and tricks and pro techniques. We typically will address themes that are a little bit more difficult to grasp at first, so it's a great learning experience. Those streams are AMA format, and you're willing to, if you want to, you can share feedback and suggestions on the build, and I usually will incorporate that as well. So tune in on Monday if you want to hang out with us. We'll see you then. Otherwise, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making utility available on stream. When I say AI, I don't mean next-gen, unethical, generative AI. It's last-gen procedural AI, developed entirely in-house by a talented team of devs, trained on our own private data sets, and fed with assets created entirely in-house by our talented team of artists. So it's about as ethical as you can be with AI development, and we think using AI to make maps and save yourself time in your campaign preparation is probably one of the best ways you could be using AI. It should be used to save your time, not take away jobs, right? Anyway, so thank you so much for participating in today's Dam Challenge stream. The Dam Challenge returns in 2 weeks. If you want to participate in the upcoming challenge, the theme is landing page. Using that as inspiration, make a landing page themed map, submit it to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord using the rules pinned at the top of the channel. You have between now and the 2nd to enter. Your entry will be, entries are allowed until the end of day in your time zone on the 2nd. So if 11:59 p.m., you could still submit a map if it's still that time in your time zone, okay? Thank you everyone for participating. Those who shared maps, you are absolute cartographer aces. Those that hung out and chat, provided support of the maps and support of members needing help, you are absolutely amazing. And those that just chilled and lurked today, seriously appreciate you supporting community initiatives, helping boost our numbers and giving us that appeal for those who may not know what we are. Thank you again for being a part of the best damn community on the planet. Until next time, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye! Lambent, most of the landing pages on the workshop are meant to be viewed from a fixed angle. But they're usually like overscaled or underscaled in the center of the map. So I don't really care of the overall quality of the map as long as there's a landing page display somewhere on it. Okay? I hope that answers your question.